it was difficult because I left like that first day being disappointed instead of like being like thrilled that I had just like won an event and like set a world
Yeah.
record. Um, but yeah, I kind of left that day being like, oh, I was disappointed. But
This computer. Yeah, it's fun. I have an interesting like combination of guests today. In the morning, I had a German like masters athlete, and now I have you.
oh, cool.
Like both ends of the age spectrum. How old are you?
I'm 23.
23, yeah. He was like, I think 40 something, 43 or 44, or maybe
That is
41.
like I hope I'm still doing it when I'm that age. That's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know if he started like in the individual years or if he just started really, really late. I haven't asked him. Hmm. But that's interesting. Where did you travel to?
We travelled to Coventry, so I'm doing battle for middleground tomorrow. Which is just a competition that I did last year as well. So I'm looking forward to doing it again. Like hopefully seeing the improvements as well. So
Hmm. How did you do last year?
good. I won it, so it was good.
Ooh, okay. So that's like it's pretty hard to make improvements on a win.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, I can just continue that then.
Yeah, make it a dominant win.
Yeah.
That's fun. How far? It's 5 hours from your place.
Yeah. So I live in Scotland, and then Coventry's in England. So yeah, it's like 5 hours in the car.
Oh wow. Do you have to travel over a border, or how does that work in the kingdom?
It's really easy. It's just kind of like a straight drive. Like you're on motorways for basically the whole time. Um, it's actually really easy to kind of get from Scotland to England. But I'm in England a lot. Um, like that's where my program's based. My programmer based in Wigan, so I'm always there. And then I'm sponsored by Wit who are in London, so I'm always in London as well. So yeah, I feel like I probably spend more time in England than I do in Scotland at the moment. But yeah, it's easy enough to get to.
That was interesting me when I watched you at the semi in Berlin, and afterwards you everybody was talking, oh, she's the fittest in the UK, and I was like, yeah, she's from Scotland. Does she sees herself as a Scotlander, or is it like, do they all feel like I'm from the UK?
Yeah, so like cause Scot like fittest in Scotland, but also fittest in UK. So yeah, it's kind of the same, kind of falls under the same category.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. How was Berlin?
It was really good. Obviously that was like my first time there, so it was just like a complete different experience, but everything was really like professional. It was like a much higher standard than I'd ever like been introduced to. So yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Hmm. If you travel to London all the time, then Berlin as a city wasn't that spectacular for you, wasn't it?
I thought I really liked it. We didn't get really to see much of it because we were competing, but like it was really easy to get around, and the food was really nice. The people were really nice, and yeah, like it was really beautiful as well. I really liked it. I would go back, like to actually have a holiday.
Yeah, I think there are rumors that the semifinal will be in Berlin again next year, so
Oh, good.
that's a good reason to come back.
Um, and like the event ran so smooth. We had like the athlete area that I was sitting in was really quiet. It was brilliant. We had like loads of room. And like a good amount of time to kind of chill in between events and get like food in and stuff. I had no complaints about it. I thought it was great.
Hmm, interesting. Was it that was your first semi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Since when do you compete, actually?
My first ever individual competition was this time last year at the Castle Games.
Wow. Wow, that's really fast. And since when do you do the sport?
I joined after lockdown. So I joined the CrossFit gym in September 2020, but then we went back into lockdown in November 2020. So I just kind of used that opportunity. I had like plates and a barbell in my garage. So I used that opportunity. I got like an online coach for weightlifting. So from November
Ooh,
to
wow.
in 2021, I just kind of learned weightlifting. And then when we came out of lockdown in the May 21, that's when I started learning all the CrossFit skills.
Wow. So that's really fast. That I'm trying to process that. I think I watched like I think I watched like on Coffee Pots and Words a talk with like Janikowski, and he was basically telling that this kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore, but it surely does.
Yeah, so he actually mentioned that on our podcast that
Oh,
he was
really? Did you
speaking to him and he had mentioned that and then he was like, but I take it back. And so that was actually quite funny.
do? Yeah, that's really fast. Why did you want to compete? Are you like a natural born competitor or?
Yeah, so well, like I grew up in sports. So I started in swimming, and then
Mm,
um, I did a bit of triathlon, and then I did a bit of powerlifting. And with each of those sports, I competed in them. So yeah, I feel like
interesting.
competition I've done my entire life. It kind of whatever sport I kind of go into, I like want to test it in competition, like test my ability and my improvements and stuff. So yeah, I feel like it kind of comes part and parcel with me doing the sport.
Interesting. So from powerlifting to CrossFit, how did you find CrossFit and want to do it? Like in a lockdown?
Yeah, so it was because like my roots was triathlon, and then when I kind of finished that because of school exams, I was just going to the gym and like keeping fit in the gym. So I was just like getting into lifting weights. Um and that's how I kind of like got into powerlifting. But then when lockdown hit, powerlifting training is very different from like triathlon and swimming, where you're training twice, 3 times a day, and powerlifting you're training like 4 times a week. It's very different. So the volume is like a lot less. So when we went lockdown and we had all this time, I was just bored of how little training I was doing. So I started like running and cycling again. And then one of my friends was like, look, you're really good at the endurance stuff and you're really strong. Like you should combine the two and do CrossFit. So once lockdown lifted, I decided to join the gym near like so that's actually so close to my house, and I never even knew it existed. It honestly is about 500 meters from my house, and I had no idea what CrossFit was. Didn't know it was even a thing. Had no idea that gym was there. So yeah, it was almost just like it was meant to be, like with how close that gym is to my house.
Do you remember your like first workout?
I know a lot of people ask me this. I cannot remember my first workout. No, it was. I remember like going into the
Me
class.
neither.
It was very because it was COVID. It was like you were only allowed in the gym an hour for a day, the full day, and then the boxes. Everybody had to be in their own box, so
Mm.
like the floor was like taped out, so you had to stay in your kind of bubble. I remember it being like that, but I cannot remember the first workout. I could probably scroll back on Modify right enough because I remember like the date I joined. I could probably find it, but I've never done that.
I have a crazy log. Like I have a like a book where I write down every workout and stuff,
Yeah.
and it goes back to like I started in 2009 or something like that. And I've written my first workout in there, and it's like in like pencil right
Oh,
handwriting, like, oh, we did this and that. And then like 1 week more, I'm still sore. I'm not doing this.
yeah. Yeah. Once you first start it, like it takes a while to get adjusted to the volume. I
Yeah.
I took it like a week off after Berlin. I went to Crete for a holiday and I
Ooh.
didn't do any training. I did like one workout on the last day, and then when I went back to training on the Monday, oh, I was so sore. Like everywhere was agony. It took like that full week to get back to the volume adjustment. I was like, oh, I'm never taking that long off again. It's not worth it. I was so sore.
Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy. I think these early days were really crazy. Like I literally thought the coach was insane. Like I think like my third or fourth workout, we did like 100 push-ups as a warm-up or something ridiculous. And of course it wasn't a warm-up, it was just like the what, like getting into the workout and making the people like fuck with their heads. Or we're doing 100 push-ups for the warm-up. What the fuck is the what then? But I was
Yeah,
doing it. I was thinking like, oh my god, this coach is insane. I'm not coming back.
yeah, that is not a warm up.
But coming back to the powerlifting, like, is it really like you sit down between reps? Not, you don't waste any calories. You're not doing any cardio at all. Is it like that or?
Yeah, it's very like that. So you take a lot of time resting. So like you would go into a session that would take like 3 hours long. But all you would have done is squats and deadlifts and like 5 sets. Say it's like 5 sets of five, but that would take you 3 hours because the amount of like rest you take in between each set, it takes so long.
That's insane. I always find that so funny when people like from powerlifting tell these stories. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Sounds like they're eating ice cream and stuff in between of reps to not lose any
oh,
calories.
100%. Like getting food in between sets. Yeah, it's very like that. It's big on the eating.
But I think your story is pretty remarkable from that point. I don't know who else was it. I think Leah Stern from Norway. She also started in like the COVID years with the lockdowns, and I find it's really impressive for me that you guys like find something in a lockdown and continue it after it. Like the conditions and the circumstances are so different than normally.
Hmm.
Like it's insane that you continue with it and you think like, oh, this is cool, I want to do this when everything's opening up again. And then learning weightlifting during the lockdown, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I am like I kind of from powerlifting, like all the equipment I really had was barbells and plates.
Yep.
Um, got like a pull-up bar mounted to the wall, and like the a couple days before the open. So I did like my very first open in 2021. And luckily from like powerlifting and swimming, I was able to do like singles and doubles and like kipping pull-ups and kipping toes to bar. Um, but yeah, we got that pull-up bar like literally a day or two before I did that first workout. Um, so because I only had like plates and a barbell, I was like, right, I might as well just like use this time to try and learn the weightlifting side of things. Um, and it gave me like a purpose as well during lockdown because I think obviously because you're out of your routine and you've not got like much going on compared to like normal life. I was doing like online uni, so it meant that like I could kind of get a break from the house, just like going out into the garage as well. So it kind of broke up my day as well, having like structured training sessions to do, like go and do my weightlifting. So yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. It was definitely like what I needed during that time.
Yeah, pretty cool. How many kilos, or do you use pounds or kilos in UK?
We use kilos.
Yeah, how many kilos did you have on the bar? Was it enough or did you
Um,
outlift it?
I had enough plates because of powerlifting. So you're like deadlifting and squatting, like so I had enough plates, especially when I was like snatch. I was like did not need any plates. The bar was enough.
Yeah. I only have like 300 kilograms. I wonder if it's enough.
Yeah, yeah, it was more than enough.
Yeah, when I bought my first barbell with I thought about that really long. Oh, will I ever outlift like the 150 kilo? Or should I just buy more? I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
What do you study when you do online uni?
I was studying sport development, but I've graduated now.
Hmm. Oh, congrats.
Oh, thanks. That was like last year, 2 years ago now. Yeah. I
Yeah.
graduated.
Yeah, also interesting. Yeah. And when did you realize, oh, I'm actually good at this? I want to compete, or was that never the question?
Yeah, that was it was never really the question because CrossFit's obviously got the different categories. Um
Hmm.
so I
Yeah.
just like first competition I did as a trio, like a team of 3, and we did it in the scales category. So yeah, it wasn't really an issue because you have those categories. And then like the big thing to qualify for like RX or like the intermediate, like the higher categories, was just like ticking off the skills. So as I started to learn the skills, I was like, oh well, now I can enter the higher category. And I just did it that way. So yeah, it wasn't really a question.
Interesting. And and this year, was the semifinal, was that the goal, or was it like, oh cool, I'm in and I see what happened?
Yeah, so like last year was make it like was when I did quarters, it was really to see like where I would place. So last year I placed like 95th in quarters. So then my goal, because it's like top 60 that go to semis, I was like, right, now I want to be in that top 60 for next year. So that was the goal for semis. And then it was really just see where I placed. So I think I qualified in 28th from the quarters and then finished 16th overall at semis. So it was really just to gauge, kind of get like a and like kind of for set for a new goal for next year, um, which like I fully have as a goal. Like I want to be at the games next year, so that's like my focus. Especially like this year I was like 5 spots out, so it's like
Yeah.
quite promising, and I have like some really big holes with like strict handstand push-ups, and then the weighted ring muscle ups really threw me off as well. So they're like things that hopefully will be like quick to fix because they are such big holes. There's like a lot of improvement to be made in them. So yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, that's interesting. Was it, are you happy or disappointed with your performance in Berlin?
That was really weird. So when I qualified for semis, I was like I've achieved what I set out to do. So going into Berlin, I was like, I honestly didn't really have any nerves. I was just excited. I was just excited to go and experience my first semis. But especially like the way I did it, where on the first day, I like my first event took like a first place, and then literally the second event, I was like near last place, like literally right down. It meant that like the
Yeah,
weekend
57th.
really an emotional roller coaster. So it was difficult because I left like that first day being disappointed instead of like being like thrilled that I had just like won an event and like set a world
Yeah.
record. Um, but yeah, I kind of left that day being like, oh, I was disappointed, but it like I knew I couldn't do the ruck anyway. So like my 1 rep max weighted ring muscle up is a 5 kilo weighted vest. Like that was literally my 1 rep max weighted ring muscle up. So I knew going into that event I couldn't do it, but I guess because like the emotion was so high for that first event and then so low after the second event, it was, yeah, it was difficult actually to kind of like
It was
interpret.
kind of a roller coaster for sure, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it was
I will always find that interesting for athletes, like coming into the competition, like, oh, I'm just going to look, this is the end goal. And then you're all of a sudden you're in the mix
mm-hmm.
until the last day, and then it changes.
Yeah. And that was like, I would say the Saturday night is the first time I experienced like nerves, because the Saturday I had such a good day. Did well in Linda in the morning, and then did well in the snatch and the run, like PB'd my snatch, and then took sixth place in the snatch and the run. And the Saturday night I was like sitting ninth place, but I knew on the event six, the strict handstand push ups, I'm terrible at them. So I knew, I was like, this is horrible, because I know I am not going to be able to maintain this placing,
Yeah.
not in this field. So that was like the first time I would say I experienced like proper nerves.
Was it more like, oh, I don't want to like look bad on this event, or I'm gonna lose my placement and that sucks?
Yeah, I think as well because all of it was like live and broadcasted,
Mm.
and because they changed the heats after the day. So because I was in ninth place, it meant I was in the top heat going into my worst event. So I'm literally walking out on the floor with all these games athletes going, and I was like, this is awful. Like I wish I was in the top heat for any other event. Like
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
either. But yeah, it was I was like, oh, this is so bad. Um I wouldn't say it was like anything external, like this is gonna make me look bad or I'm gonna lose my place. And I think it was just like disappointment in my performance, even though it was literally the best I could have done on the day. But yeah, just like it's hard when you set such a high standard in the other events to then set such a low standard in some events. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it personal level.
Interesting. The handstand push-ups. I'm trying to remember which event it was. I think it was like the back-to-back events with the snatches. I watched from the stands, and I think like a lane or 2 lanes ahead of me were your support group.
Oh, amazing.
Like they had the t-shirts, and I was wondering, they wrote down, I think it was 5 or 6 people, and they all wrote down another athlete from all the heats. They wrote down the athlete, the lane, and the time, and I think the weight they snatched. Was that some information they gave to you, or was it just them like,
Oh, bless them. Yeah, they were keeping an eye on all the scores and stuff from previous heats.
hmm,
Cause I was in the second top heat. Um they were they wanted to keep an eye on, say, because I took second in my heat, but
hmm,
obviously people in heats prior could have ran faster. So I think they were keeping an eye on like top times from previous heats just to see like where mine stacked up to that. Um so yeah, bless them, they're so cute. But by the time I got back to my phone, like the leaderboard had already been put up, so I didn't really need any of that information.
yeah. Yeah, I find that really interesting. I was like, oh, these guys have some dedication. I
Yeah.
wonder what they what they're doing. Like that was so amazing. Like in Berlin, like obviously, like the top names who've been there like several years, they have their fan base. Like, but newcomers like you, they have like a small group of people who travel with them, but they're like almost as loud, you know?
Yeah.
Like on the first day I was at the other side of the venue, and there were like a French group of people, and they supported the team, not even like Hoffer or Claudia Glob. They supported the team, and they had like banners with them and like flags and stuff, and they
Mhm.
made such noise. It was insane. Like, and they were also like 8 or 9 people, but the
Yeah.
whole place was kind of erupting.
I was I was actually getting comments on like some of my posts being like, I want to hang out with the Scottish crew. They look so fun. Yeah, my friends were brilliant. They my friends and family, they went all out. They had flags and they like face painted their faces like half white, half blue. It was they were proper into it. It was great.
Yeah, that was really fun. I got to know a lot of like supporters from the stands, and it's really like pretty interesting. But these
Yeah.
guys like, oh yeah, and it's also was interesting. I was kind of on the edge of asking them, is she a good snatcher? Is she a good snatcher? Because I was like playing like some fantasy fitness with my friends back home, like placing like I think we placed the top 4 or 5 people in the women's and at the men's, and I was like, oh man, is this girl gonna snatch good?
You
but
were
I
in a
didn't. But I didn't ask them.
no.
Oh man, yeah. But I think like you said it, it's really like a roller coaster thing. You have two really good like finishes and two really bad finishes. I think if you can just keep up the home runs and like notch the bad ones a little bit like middle of the pack, you would been pretty good to go, I think.
Yeah, that like that is the thing. Like because I was lucky enough to do so well in like my strengths, which was like gave me a real confidence boost because like I knew they were obviously strengths to me, but I didn't think they were like strengths, competitive strengths in that field
In
at
that
all.
field, yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice for that to be like kind of verified that they are strengths. So yeah, like even just getting my weaknesses up to like middle of the pack as you say, um yeah, it would put me in good contention.
Yeah. So you basically compete like you're. I think I heard in another interview you compete since you've been like 9 years old. I think.
Yeah, so I started swimming when I was 9, and yeah, with swimming, there's like a lot of like in-house competition. So every month they would do like Grand Prix where the club kind of puts together like a mini competition, and then once a year you would get like the club championship where you would go like head to head with all the other girls in your age category. So yeah, that is like a big part of swimming. They do a lot of kind of competitions.
What um what did you swim like? What are the what's that in English? Like the different meters in swimming. What are the like
Um,
like in running 800, 400? What is it
yeah,
in swimming?
when I swam and just solely swam, I actually did like the 50 and the 100 breaststroke. Um, but when obviously I went into triathlon, it then became like a set distance and front crawl. So it was like a 400-meter front crawl swim. Was like the youth sprint distance.
Yeah, distances, Tim. Distances. I got it back. So sprints, yeah. How do you get as a child? How do you get into swimming? Is it
Um,
did your parents like throw you into the sport, or did you want to do it, or what? How do you?
we
I just wonder.
we lived like near a canal, and when I was like 7, I fell in the canal and obviously couldn't swim. So they thought it was important
Mm,
that I learned to swim.
wow. How big is a canal?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
What is a canal? Is this like a river or?
Yeah, it's like
I want to
quite
Google that.
like lots of reeds and stuff at the bottom that like can like tangle you up and pull you under. So it is like quite dangerous to fall under.
Let's see. Is this like a canal you fell into?
Well, yeah, but in Scotland,
Like, does it look like that?
yeah, that's a canal. Yeah,
Wow. So it's not like you can stand into it. You can drown, or
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's yeah.
what the heck is this? Wow, that looks fun.
Yeah, that's in Scotland.
So you fell into it. How do you fell into it?
I was on my bike and I just was not paying attention, and I just fell
Ooh.
off the bike.
And did your parents like jump after you and get you out, or how did you survive?
Me and my brother had actually like cycled away from my mum, so I was actually very lucky that there was a man jogging behind us, and he pulled me out.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's that's a cool story actually. And then your parents said you go into swim lessons.
yeah. And they're like, you need to learn how to swim. It's important.
I wonder what this horses is. It looks cool.
Those are the kelpies.
Scottish canals, man. I'm gonna check that out later.
Give you some homework.
That's cool. And how long does it take you to like be canal survivable?
I mean, you're never really canal survivable. The canal's like quite dangerous because
No.
there's like yeah, there's like weeds and stuff at the bottom that like can tie your that you can get caught up on and pull you under. Um, but like a competent swimmer, I'd say I was like a competent swimmer at like age 12.
Oh wow. And then you did competitions in swimming and then triathlon. I think that's a pretty that's pretty awesome. Like road. I always wonder like since you started so early, it's obviously not a I don't know if it's even a question for you, but I always ask my guests if it's like when you really go back why you're doing sports at all, is it for aesthetics or for something else? I always ask.
I think like it's definitely not for aesthetics on my part. I just love it. Like I think it's like part of my personality. Um, and like what I love to do and like what I guess I've found something I'm like passionate about, and because I'm passionate about it, I'm good at it because I put the effort and the time in it into it. So yeah, I think it's just like part of your personality. Like some people will really dislike sports. And just yeah.
Interesting. How is it like? How do you feel? Is it seen in the Scottish like public, like in general sports and in particular like CrossFit or functional fitness? Is it like gaining some attention, or is it still like some what is this?
Yeah, I think it's becoming a lot more popular. So more and more people are getting into it and like hearing about it and knowing about it and stuff. Um, but yeah, I feel like there's still quite a lot of people who wouldn't know what it is.
Mm,
But Scotland's really good in the sense that like any athlete they really get behind. So I literally felt like I had the whole Scotland behind me in Berlin. It was great. People who like didn't do CrossFit were still messaging me and stuff just because they were Scottish. Like they felt that like that connection, and like they felt like they should be behind you type thing. So yeah, it was really good.
yeah, interesting. So I think you already said it. Like the goal next year is to go to the games.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to. Yeah.
Was there a? I think Fawcett, your coach, went to the games once, didn't he?
Yeah, he's going back again this year as a master.
Yeah. But was there ever a girl at the games from
Eh,
Scotland?
not from Scotland.
Obviously in the UK, but not Scotland, doesn't?
Not from Scotland, no. We have a masters athlete from Scotland. Um, but not as an individual, no.
Hmm. Interesting. You could be the first. That's some fun. Yeah, I'm really excited what you bring to the table next year.
Thank you.
I hope you're going to be healthy. Please
Thank
stay
you.
healthy and don't fall into a canal or something.
That-
But you have the skills now to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, Jenn, thanks for being on.
No, thank you for having me.
Where is this?